For more than 4 decades, Dave Pirner has been the voice and principal songwriter behind Soul Asylum, a band that came out of the Minneapolis underground and survived the long grind, long enough to become one of the defining bands of the alternative rock era. Gave us songs like Somebody to Shove, Black Gold, Misery, and of course, Runaway Train. But what makes this conversation very interesting is not simply looking backward. Soul Asylum is still touring, still making records, and still uncovering pieces of its own musical history. Later this month, they're releasing MPLS Unplugged, including What Will Become of Me, a song Dave first started playing more than 30 years ago, that somehow is only now receiving an official release. And on August 19th, Soul Asylum makes its way here to the Treasure Valley for a show at Revolution Concert House in Garden City. So this isn't simply a look back at a band that helped define an era. It's a conversation about what happens when the songs keep living, the audience keeps changing, and the person who wrote them keeps evolving right alongside them. Dave Pirner of Soul Asylum, next on The Gordy Tamao Show. Dave, what's happening? Thanks for joining me here today.
Good to see you, Gordy. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. Appreciate you. I see you're still in the studio. You must live there and breathe there 24/7.
Oh, this is my basement.
Always putting
this
work.
is where I, where the magic happens.
Is it? What kind of magic recently has been happening there?
I've made a bunch of demos for the next Soul Asylum record.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm good. I'm kind of I think to myself I'm a little bit ahead of schedule because I have this Minneapolis State Theater gig. Record coming out, and I think that hopefully these songs that I'm making the band is going to love to play, and that's pretty much what I'm writing for, I guess.
Non-stop. That's what's up. Well, hey, I don't want to spend too long necessarily, reliving 1992 per se, but I do want to talk to you about, some songs that have lived on for quite some time now, and one specifically that jumps out to me that's, waited 30 years, right? I believe 3 decades is What Will Become of Me, because the story is kind of remarkable. And so you started playing this back in 95, fans knew it existed in the world, but there was never an official recording until now. And so talk to me about how does a song manage to hang on for 3 decades without really ever getting released? That's pretty unique.
Gordy, I gotta say, I can't believe that's the first song you brought up, and it's pretty awesome. And I love working with different time signatures, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. For lack of a better expression, but this is so I kind of built it on a string thing. So I don't know if anybody got that when I gave them the song and said, "Here's one." But I don't remember ever playing it, ever.
Really?
I don't think we did. And I don't remember who remembered it, but that one could have been me. Sometimes Michael Bland, my drummer, will go, "Hey man, what about this song?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." But it's cool because when I think about the songs, I'm like, "Oh, okay, this one is going to see the light of day."
Eventually.
For whatever reason, that I'm like, it doesn't seem to be ending up on a record. So, well, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes me think of too, like how when you finally approached it again after all these years, were you trying to capture what you originally wrote back when, or the song that it had become, after 30 years of living on stage? Like, what was that like?
Well, that's an interesting way to. It's I mean, I guess all right, there's a fly in here or something. I guess I, I wish that I could write things that are timeless. And sometimes for me personally, if I'm singing something I wrote a while ago and it still feels the same way to me,
Uh-huh.
that's that's not unusual for me, and that's a good thing. So it didn't like, you know, I didn't like look at the lyrics and go, I should change that or anything. So it just seems like it came from a good place, and I should just keep it the same way as the demo,
Mm-hmm.
and then have a real string section and gospel singers and all that
Mm-hmm.
shit. If that's
Yeah.
not giving the song enough of a chance for people to hear it, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
glad that you heard it.
Right. It gets me thinking of something even bigger. It's like when when you write from a particular place in your life, and then thousands, or in your case, maybe even millions of people take that song and they attach it to completely different moments of their lives. Like, at some point, does the song stop feeling like it belongs to you? And
Like it become what now?
does it ever stop feeling like the song belongs to you? Like, because you crafted it, you
Oh,
wrote it?
no, no. I mean, I think that, you know, you can sell your publishing. And the reason I haven't done that is because then my songs would belong more. But it's weird. They're fugazi, whatever. Yeah. So, uh, yeah, at one point, it's really gratifying when you hear somebody else play your song. It's really
Mhm.
cool. You hear their interpretation, and
Yeah.
Prince covered one of my songs, and I've covered other artists' songs that are people that I know, and you put your own thing on it. Um, anyways,
Yeah. No, it reminds me of, how your own interpretations may change over time, when you're hearing your own stuff in light of how somebody else is interpreting it. But I guess it doesn't always have to necessarily change as well. Yeah. You know, I'm still thinking of, you're still singing, words that were written by your younger version of yourself in your 20s and 30s, etc.
Mhm.
Is there songs now where you understand the guy who wrote them differently? Um, because that's quite a bit of time to reflect back on
Yeah,
who you were.
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of different instances of that. Um, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm singing a song about something from a long time ago, and I do kind of feel that moment for a second, or it's not really seeing something in your head. It's
Mhm.
sort of you're trying to capture a feeling, and no matter how long ago it was, if I captured it right, I'm like, okay, I'm different now, but I'm still the same guy. So I suppose in that way, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I'm not completely crazy. And I kind of, I definitely wrote this. Uh, uh,
Yeah, well, it reminds me too of something I came across. I don't know if it was your bio or an article or somewhere, but it was a point about you not, maybe it was you or one of the other bandmates, I can't remember, but somebody not particularly being interested in nostalgia, which
oh yeah,
caught my attention because Soul Asylum has a catalog of deeply nostalgic like tracks, right? And you can't really control that, but it reminds me of the difference between nostalgia and legacy. One saying, remember when this mattered, and the other one saying, this still matters. Do you think about that distinction, or is that something other people put on the music after the fact? Do you think?
No, what's the word? That's some word stuff. I don't really understand. We put a record out on a label called Legacy,
Hmm.
and I started thinking about that word. Um, what was the other one he used?
We were
Oh,
talking about
nostalgia.
legacy
Yeah,
versus nostalgia.
yeah,
Yep.
nostalgia. Yeah, I'm not, I mean, how many times do you have a conversation with somebody and they're like going, "Well, I remember when," or "back
Yeah.
then," or
Yeah.
"back in the day," and this, that, and the other thing, and people continue to rehash
Yeah.
situations, and it gets kind of crazy when you're on the road all the time, and then you're talking about something that happened on the road not
Yeah.
that long ago. And I'm like, okay, this is getting like ultra redundant. But yeah, I just nostalgia. I guess it's different for every people, but for every people, uh,
Hmm.
yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Sure. Yeah.
People remember things differently. That's annoying.
Hmm.
You got that whole people will tell me a story about something that happened 20 years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool, but it's not at all what happened. Yeah, uh,
Yeah. You're hoping they forgot whatever
uh,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of like what Soul Asylum is today or is becoming, after 40 years, what is Soul Asylum to you? Is it a band? Is it songs? Is it
Yeah,
an attitude?
that's a band. It's a
And
it's a band. Sometimes I think about it as an organization, which just kind of includes the crew and the manager and the booking agent and a couple other things. So there's, um, but yeah, I guess it's sort of, yeah, I don't know. I like it better than like being like a solo artist because
uh-huh.
I don't know because I don't know. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the word enigma comes to mind, although I
Mm.
don't know if I'm using that, but I guess it's I don't know. It's just a bunch of music that traveled through time at some point. So I guess it's just the songs is what it is,
Yeah.
and that we continued to play them. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Well, I think enigma actually might be a,
Better.
a real good word too.
Well,
Um, I think enigma might be actually a good word for
yeah.
what I'm thinking right now in relation to the Minneapolis scene. And you probably
Mm,
answered this question 10,000 times, so I'm not going to ask you in the same way that maybe some other people have. But what fascinates me about the Minneapolis scene, is that people talk about the sound of it, but yet you got people like Prince, Soul Asylum, The Replacements, etc., that came out, but they didn't sound alike. So
it's true.
was the real gift of that scene not necessarily a particular sound, but kind of permission to be strange or different or enigmatic, like you mentioned a second ago?
Definitely. I mean, when you think about it, like, you know, the so I mean, you will find people that think the Minneapolis sound is the punk scene, and
Uh-huh.
you will find people that think it's, for lack of a better expression, the Prince scene.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's a very strange thing because I cross paths with these people, and now I'm playing in a band with people that played with Prince, and but they were. It's really hard to explain because he's such an amazing talent. Um, but I was in the punk rock scene, so it, we weren't talking about what's sexy or
All
anything
right.
like that. So I mean, there there's something in the air, but I don't. I think I always think, oh well, whatever was going on before all this happened and after all this happens or whatever. It's a building. It's not a building block, but I'm I like the idea of regional music, and
Mm.
yeah, that's why I moved to New Orleans because it's just so incredible, so different than any other town.
Yeah.
And just I think just that it all coexisted, and Prince and Morris Day and Husker Du and the Replacements were all playing on the same stage at one time or
Hmm.
another. Yeah, it kind of tells you something, I think.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. It also reminds me of you know, the opportunities maybe that have come up your way where you get to work with somebody again after a long stretch of time, like what's happened with Steve Jordan.
oh yeah,
Um, and so, talk to me about you guys coming together again and interacting now after years. Like, what is that like?
it was great. I think this was like the funnest record I've made, um, because we had that familiarity and working with
Eh,
each other,
okay.
and and he's so great. I mean, I smile when I think about him, and over time, the Soul Asylum went through a bunch of stuff, and we had a hit record and all that. Um, in the meantime, he joined the Rolling Stones, and so I sent a song to Nico Bolas, who Steve introduced me to on the first record we made, which I together, which was '92 or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, and he's like Neil Young's guy, recording engineer and uh, whatnot, whatnot. Anyways, I sent it to Nico, and Nico sent it to Steve, and Steve said, "I'll do it." And
Uh,
it was so great calling up Michael Bland and going, "Guess who wants to produce our record?" And he was like, "Oh, holy shit!" So it was a great sort of coming together of, yeah, uh,
yeah,
there's a
that's
familiar element
yeah, that's cool
before,
because it doesn't always work that way.
yeah, yeah, kind of know
Mhm.
what he expects, and I want to give it to him.
Yeah, that's what's up. After this many records, I'm curious about kind of your actual spark still. You're still in your basement right now, working
Mhm.
on stuff. So when it comes to, songs announcing themselves the way that they did back in your 20s, like, is it a lyric? Is it a guitar part? Is it something somebody says? Like, how has the songwriting itself changed as you've gotten older?
I know this is it's like pretty together, but it's just I don't really know. I think it's kind of if I'm sort of being, fiction to see that
Uh-huh.
like that page is stapled on there.
Mm.
But yeah, this just I just do this. These are the new stuff I'm working on, but I try to write sort of habitually, I suppose. So I write a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that just doesn't go anywhere.
Mm.
And I don't know. I sort of put it together with you're not going to get the good shit without writing out the bad shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just become sort of second nature in a way. Like I'm always thinking about it's maniacal in a way that, I was working here last night, and after the engineer I was working with left, I just couldn't think of anything else. And my guitar player is coming over tonight to listen to some stuff, and so it's a bit of an obsession.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's not relaxing until it's I guess until you're on stage playing it.
But
And you're like, okay, I finished this song. So you have a
yeah,
lot of works in progress, and some very deep self doubt where you're like, is
uh,
this great or is this shit? Yeah.
sure.
So
And that takes time. Yeah.
you just have to keep doing it. That's
Yeah. The obvious one that I got to ask you about, I don't want to ask you in the same format because of how like Runaway Train was written. That story's been told already. But what does interest me is what happens after something becomes that big. You lived with that song for more than 30 years. Is there anything about Runaway Train that belongs privately to Dave Pirner, or has it become something entirely different because of everything people have attached to it?
yeah. I feel like a lot of what makes it work for people is that I'm sharing private thoughts.
Okay.
So in that way, it's always dispelling private information or something. You know, I don't know if I would call it confessional, but
It kind of is.
you
Okay.
know, I think that that's what people identify with. I mean, as far as like how well the song is known, I realized that the first thing I thought of was how other people react to it, which was kind of in your
Okay.
question, but yeah.
Which
So
makes me
for a long time, people just associated it with the video,
okay.
which is about runaway children, which is something I'm very, very passionate about. At the same time, the song was written before any of that happened. So I was doing an interview in England, and I'm like, okay, and he's going to ask me about runaway children and this in the video and this, that, and the other thing. And then he goes, that's not what I was asking you about. And I was like, oh, he goes, the it was the first song that brought meant he didn't. I'm not quoting him. I'm trying to paraphrase. That brought mental health to the forefront
Yeah.
of the music thing or something to that effect. And I was like, yeah, well, I never. I don't really think about how other people think about it, but that's probably more accurate than you know the song about what the video turned into, which
Sure.
crazy thing.
When you're playing a song like this, that was released before some of the audiences was even alive. Like,
Oh,
what goes through your mind as they're singing along with these songs? Like, is there anything that sticks out to you?
I
Like,
don't
what do you
know.
think
I
about?
guess it's just general in a way that I'm not really focusing, but I think sometimes I'm just like, where did this kid hear this shit? You know,
The internet, yeah,
and
changed everything.
and other times it's a real little kid that's really into it, and then I'm like, what is going on there? And then the person standing behind this child is his mother, who's probably
Mhm.
my age. Well, not that old, but anyways. So yeah, I love any kind of diversity I can get. in
Okay.
the audience. So if you're always playing at bars and clubs,
Uh-huh.
you're not, no one under 21 is going to see you. But when you start playing these other gigs at whatever it's called, you know, festivals, celebrations, and things like that, and there's kids there, it's pretty cool, especially like some of my memories of that are just pretty great. Like I'm not imagining to make a connection with a
Uh-huh.
child, but it feels like I am. So that's a good feeling. I like it when
Yeah.
it,
Is there any part of your catalog where, you are kind of surprised that people have like held on to over the years? Like you're wondering why a certain song that maybe didn't become a hit, but the audiences just love it, and you're like, really? That's the one that they cling to the most?
oh yeah, and I think that that's what shapes ultimately what shapes the set list, because you know
Eh,
that you want to play your newest stuff, and you know that
okay.
people are coming to hear certain songs, and then you notice that people are really into a certain song that you didn't, that is kind of in or out of the set list, depending. It's in that middle zone. um and yeah, String of Pearls is one of those songs where
Mm.
people just, I don't know, they just react to it in a different way. Like they know the story and they want to hear all the,
Uh-huh.
and it's funny and it's fun and I like it.
Yeah.
So I think that's, I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but people tell me that people like the acoustic thing because they
Eh,
can hear the lyrics better.
uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not that full of myself, but I'm like, well, why don't I just do that? But we're going out, we're doing loud electric shows, and that's kind of my element.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. One thing I read across, and I think it was in your bio, this one was in your bio too, if I remember correctly, about how music can leave people feeling like everything's going to be okay. Mm. And if it does, then you've accomplished something, is something along those lines that I've seen, which kind of struck me a little odd because, you know, much of Soul Asylum's music isn't necessarily relentlessly optimistic. There's some loneliness, frustration, anger.
But
You mentioned earlier, like kind of this confessional type thing, right? That it becomes all kinds of stuff that's woven in there. So, do you think that music has to acknowledge like the darker parts of a person or what they're thinking before it kind of earns the right to offer hope to somebody? Or what's that process like?
so I think that, kind of coming from a punk rock beginning, it was a way to express frustration and anger and things like that.
Okay.
As things went on, I started, listening to Leonard Cohen and things like that that has some other emotion. In other words, it just, I don't want to be making songs about, fucking and dancing and
Uh-huh.
whatever. And you can't, you have to sort of make up your own topics if it's even topical. But after many years of doing this thing, that was a lot of anger was being expelled. Um, yeah, and it's a thing. The crowd is angry, and the band is angry, and
Uh-huh.
everybody's angry. Um, and then I don't know. Then I started listening to gospel music, and things like that. I mean, that's one example, but you know, there's joyous music, and there's the blues and laments and things like that I don't know are more personal, I suppose. And that's a broad sort of like, how personal do you want to get? How much do you want to listen to somebody?
Right.
So yeah, I think it offers escape for a lot of people, and you know does so it evokes so many emotions, and I guess that's what I'm trying to do. I did an interview in France, and the guy goes, I noticed that your lyrics come from all the colors of the emotional palette. And I was like, only a French dude would say that, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting observation. That's what's up. Well, let's bring this home because you're headed our direction. August 19th,
That's right.
Revolution Concert House in Garden City. What version of Soul Asylum are we getting when you're walking onto that stage?
Full on Soul Asylum. Eric, you're gonna get an ass kicking whether you like it or not. I mean, this new record is an acoustic thing, but what we'll be doing in Boise is a full-on electric thing, which, depending on the size of the room, is more fun, or how far you can get away from it. But yeah, I mean, the band's tighter than ever, and I think good.
Yeah, that's what's up. Well, Dave, I appreciate you spending some time with me. Soul Asylum will be right here in the Treasure Valley Wednesday, August 19th at Revolution Concert House in Garden City, and MPLS Unplugged arrives August 28th, including the long-awaited official release of What Will Become of Me. Dave, Soul Asylum, thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, Gordy. You have a great rest of your day, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
Take care.
Thanks.